The executive order is fun, exciting. I don't think it actually means anything.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Mike G of the War Rapport and Locked On UCF hanging out with us on this bonus Friday edition of the show. Mike G, it seems like every 2 days something else happens to change the discussion points and the thought process on, these new rules throughout college football. It's insane. Earlier in the week, reports surfaced collectives are back and third-party NIL through collectives is fine, treated like any other business. And then 2 days after that, President Trump puts out an executive order saying, hey, we're not going to allow third-party pay-for-play. And a lot of people are saying, okay, does this mean John Cohen was right? Does this mean Auburn was wrong? And what does it mean? I don't think it means anything, Mike G. Pay for play has never been allowed outside of the rev sharing aspect of this new model of college football. Collectives have still always been seen under the NIL realm, where it still has to be an exchange of goods and services that has to be approved with the fair market value by NIL Go. This doesn't change anything from my point of view.
I agree with you 100%. It seems like one of those congressionally like symbolic things, right?
I guess.
Where it's like, sure. Hey, all the things that you said, I'm going to say it, but I'm the president. So, look, at the end of the day, it reinforces what the spirit of NIL is supposed to be. It's supposed to be, rev share through the university, but outside of that, real market purpose in some of these deals, meaning businesses actually benefit from having a student athlete promote their product or service, and this executive order just kind of gives, I guess, a little bit more backbone to that. Yeah. Somewhat. So a lot of people were freaking out because in the Auburn space, there has been a lot of talk about Auburn's approach to the Clearinghouse. And, I went on the Paul Feinbaum show last week at SEC Media Days, and he said, call me when they start enforcing these rules. Now, there was a ruling recently, a meaningful court ruling that said that, hey, collectives are to be treated as any other third-party business, given that they operate within the guidelines that they should be operating within as a third-party business. And, right. I think that had way more meaning to this conversation than this executive order.
I agree. Because then, all right, from an Auburn point of view, On to Victory now can assist with not only, the paying of athletes, but the recruitment of athletes. And it doesn't impact the rev share is what the assumption is moving forward, which is not what John Cohen said weeks ago when he spoke to the ambush event at Lake Martin, which is probably good for Auburn because now they're able to pivot if that's what's actually happening. We'll see. And it still may be too early to tell that, they said August 1st. We're still a few days away from that. Is that what they're going to wait until they truly pivot? Maybe. We'll see. All that's going to be stuff that we'll never fully know. Is all that's going to be behind the scenes. And we'll see when we do see a pivot. If we do see a pivot, we'll see it weeks after they pivoted. So, that could have already happened, and we're starting to see some of the groundwork be laid behind the scenes. I think the recruiting momentum is kind of symbolic of that, but that's pure speculation, but I think it makes sense. So, with all that being said, like anytime one of these rules change or there's clarification, which is probably the more accurate way to word this, the Auburn reaction is, oh, so was John Cohen right? And I still think it's too early to tell. And I don't think everything has to relate exactly to everything that he said, because it's more nuanced than that.
Yeah, when the news broke about the deal that they struck on collectives, I had a quick text message exchange with John Cohen. That essentially was like, well, this is interesting. And he was like, yep. So we'll follow up on that. Yep. Here in about a week or two. I'm going to give it some time to flesh out before I follow back up with him. But ultimately, right, I think that a lot of the panic around recruiting is overblown. I've never been in a place where I feel like this one recruiting class was going to sink all the work that they've done. And I think that Cohen is right about the shift that would have been coming per the rules about roster retention over roster acquisition, Zach.
Sure.
So, he said that they liked they did a great job recruiting the first couple of years, and they wanted to keep a lot of those guys on campus. And there's a cost to that. And in years where you don't have a lot of attrition, you're going to spend more money keeping your players on campus than you do going out to get other players. What I like,
and timing of this matters too, right? If Auburn was consistently winning 10 games, I think the conversation about it is a little bit different because you want to keep that sustained excellence going. But we're not there. We've got to win one. Like, we have to get a good season before we can have multiple good seasons in a row. And you do that by retaining the talent that you've already got on campus and that you're developing and all that goes along with it. It's like, if you have to pick, which I'm a little skeptical on, like, if they truly had to pick, but if they had to pick, yeah, you pick to retain. And that message has been outward and consistent from Cohen and from Freeze.
Yeah, you got to win games this year.
Yep.
Period. And the 2026 recruiting class isn't going to help you in 2025. So, you know who's going to help you?
No, it's not going to help you in 2026 either.
Right. Your 2024 recruiting class is going to help you. Your Cam Coleman's are going to help you. Your Perry Thompsons are going to help you. And they kept all those guys on campus. And I think there's something to be said for that. So ultimately, Auburn, no recruit signs until December. Auburn has time to pivot. If money was all that was keeping a recruit from Auburn, there's nothing to stop them from putting more money on the table now.
Yeah, and we might see. Let's talk about that in just a second. Like, are we seeing signs of them already pivoting? That's next, right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. Mike G, can you imagine wagering anywhere other than with our friends at FanDuel?
I can't.
No, thanks. Yeah. Not interested in that. Only interested in FanDuel. Auburn, a 2.5-point favorite, according to our friends at FanDuel, when they head to Waco on Friday night to kick off both of their seasons, both Auburn and, of course, Baylor. And you can get on the action there. Auburn, 7.5 wins is their win total. So if you're feeling juicy or just a bummer, you can go under on that. Whatever. Put your money where your mouth is this offseason, which won't be much more of an offseason in the coming weeks, which is very exciting. But if you're new to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5. You get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started. Mike G of the War Rapport hanging out with us today. Also Locked On UCF. Mike, we're seeing Auburn get some momentum in the way of a few commits. I mean, obviously the commit of Jaquez Wilkes is huge. Yeah. Now the highest rated player in the class, and then also just putting him on the other side of Hezekiah Harris 2 or 3 years from now is very exciting to think about. But you're hearing Auburn be in the thick of it for Bralan Womack, who's a 5-star safety. He would be the highest rated player in this class if he were to commit, according to multiple outlets. Deron Parks announces tomorrow, is my understanding. It seems like Ohio State's not going to take him, so it's down to Auburn or FSU. Now, some Auburn writers earlier today said that, hey, it might be FSU, which I don't love. I don't love the optics of that, especially when FSU's class is starting to slowly fall apart a little bit. But you are seeing momentum happen. Jase Matthews, one of the more talented receivers in this class, Auburn's in the Final Four for him, and it seems like they like their situation there. And so, like, my question is, could you do all of that when you haven't been able to be competitive when it comes to what you're able to offer from an NIL and rev share point of view, according to Freeze directly and Cohen to some extent, but more so from Freeze saying, hey, we're way low. I just don't see these being the guys who, like, if you're way low on, that they're going to consider you. That's just my thought on it.
Yeah, I think that, okay, so my sources told me that for the athletes that Auburn wanted, they were getting outbid by an average of about $100,000 per athlete, 6 figures per athlete. Okay. Now, it wasn't that the money wasn't there. It was that as they interpreted the rules, this is how they were managing their cap. And per the cap rules, they didn't have the money after player retention to go out and offer these massive deals to these high school recruits. And so, like I said, I think that what we're going to see is the purse strings loosen quite a bit here if it has not already started. Right. I think it already started because they pointed to August 1st as a pivotal date. Zach, this ruling makes that August 1st, it doesn't even matter anymore. Right? Like
it matters to. So when Cohen talked about all this publicly the first time, he talked about it impacting the cap. And that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. Like, I think we all agree that third-party NIL no longer impacts the cap. And so, yeah, I mean, August 1st, I do think matters. I mean, you're hearing reports of all of these deals being shut down by NIL Go because they don't meet fair market value, which I'm kind of scoffing at. Like, who's going to get sued first, But to me, like, I'm with you. Like, I do think August 1st matters, but it's from the topic of what we're discussing as far as Auburn offering and being competitive and being concerned about the cap. Yeah, I mean, I do think that makes Auburn much more competitive for all these guys that we just mentioned.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, the question was always going to be, how are collectives going to operate under these cap rules? And my understanding of it, Zach, was that part of the Clearinghouse's job was if you had some massive deal offered by the collective, they were going to do interviews and talk to the athlete. Hey, did you have any discussions with anybody that could be considered a university representative and not just a collective representative about how the amount of this deal or what you were going to get? And if you didn't mean that the deal was null and void. It meant it could count towards your cap. And they say, hey, if you the university coordinated through the collective, then it counts towards your cap. And for all we know, they may still implement some form of that. The whole idea behind this is real market purpose, right? Like, is there a real market purpose to the deal? That was one of the charges of the Clearinghouse. It's one of the main charges of the Clearinghouse is to determine this. Now, they're going to have to dedicate a massive amount of resources into figuring this out for all these deals that are going to be on the table over $600. But I just, and I think that's why you saw a lot of universities run to front load contracts so that they didn't have to deal with that for, at least a year or two and say, hey, let's execute all these things before July 1st. And that'll get us around these cap rules for at least until 2027.
Yeah, I just don't think it's going to matter. I mean, you're seeing, as soon as I saw the big money booster for Texas Tech walking up and down Radio Row at Big 12 Media Days, flaunting it, I'm like, okay, like, we don't care. Nobody cares about this. It's all a facade that they don't care about it.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what gets through NIL Go. I still don't. Nobody's been able to answer this question. If NIL Go says no to a deal, hey, we want to pay wide receiver X $500,000, whatever. And NIL Go says, nope, that's not fair market value, whatever. Might be fair market value in USC, but it's not here. Okay, all right. One, you could sue, which I think will happen. But the other aspect of it is, like, how are they gonna, like, what's stopping them from just doing the transaction anyway, not through NIL Go? And then, like, what happens then? Because, like, it used to be the thing where if you rolled up, as a true freshman to whatever school, and you're in a big, Lamborghini or, a really nice Forerunner or whatever, like a new vehicle, right? I'm not even going to be dramatic and say, I don't know, I said Lambo, but a nice vehicle. And it's like, where'd you get that from? Where'd that come from? Right. But now it's like, if a dude pulls up in a new truck or whatever, and his rev share portion is 100,000, 150,000, it's like, well, people buy new cars all the time, making $100,000 to $150,000. And they live a nice lifestyle, making $100,000 to $150,000, especially in a place like Auburn. And so then it's like, well, is there a big difference to, like, what it looks like from the outside to in if they have other NIL money coming in that's not through NIL? I just don't know how they're going to look at all that.
Yeah. Like, I imagine every system like this requires the consent of the participating parties to abide by the rules, right?
Yeah,
So,
and that's not college football. Sorry,
yeah, I'm telling you,
it's just not.
Yeah, it's not even real life in some cases, right?
You're
Like,
right.
I mean, you've got big time businessmen who they don't file all their revenue when they file their taxes, right? Like, they're finding ways around paying taxes. We've seen it for years and years and years at a business level. And so to the extent that they can get some teeth around auditing this, we'll see what they come up with. My question to Cohen was, what kind of enforcement power does NIL Go have? Is it sanctions to the university? Is it financial penalties to the athlete? Is it loss of scholarships? And he said, as far as we know, all of the above. I could do any of those things. So your question about what happens when they say no to a deal, per the rules, it's supposed to be binding arbitration is the next step. Right?
We'll see.
Yeah, right.
We'll
it's supposed
see
to be
if it
binding
happens,
arbitration.
and it may matter which school does it, right? Because I think it's been pretty clear they're comfortable going after some schools more than other schools.
Yeah.
And
I just want to be clear, Zach. Auburn has money. They have money for these athletes. I'm telling you, it's not
they want to make sure they can give it to them within the rules.
Yeah. We're not broken ugly like Ole Miss, right? So yeah,
nice.
At the end of the day, they've just got to get out there and figure out
what are some other schools that you would say are broken ugly. Just throw a few out there real quick.
Missouri for sure. Yeah,
okay.
Screw them. We just did our fraud. I just did a segment on the SEC, our SEC frauds list. It was a lot of fun. Spoiler alert: both those schools are on it.
Is Oklahoma on there?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah, I think that Oklahoma. There's going to be such an interesting case this year. Venables, I have questions about Venables. I think I've got as many questions about Venables as some people have about Hugh Freeze.
I mean, they're in a similar spot.
Yeah, as a head coach. So it's going to be an interesting season for sure in the SEC. Yeah. Beyond Georgia and Texas, I think conference is wide open, right? And this discussion,
I think LSU is extremely underrated. I mean, you can say what you want about Brian Kelly. I'm with you. Okay. I'm with you. But Garrett Nussmeier is going to take some souls this year.
He's my best returning quarterback in the SEC. I literally just got through saying that like 20 minutes ago.
I love Lenore Sellers' game, but Lenore Sellers being first team and Nussmeier being second team, I'm like, what are we doing here? What are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know what we're doing. He was a 4,000. I think he might be a 5,000 yard passer.
I mean, quarterbacks like Nussmeier are boring. Like, they are boring. Like, just a sustained, like, okay, he's going to go out there and just do the job. Lenore's will wow you. Nussmeier will just, like, death by 1,000 paper cuts, just get you.
I think he was exciting as any quarterback. Ole Miss versus LSU last year in overtime, man.
I'm so high on Nussmeier. Like, you do not have to convince me. I'm just trying to make sense of it. It's like, I'm trying to give people the benefit of the doubt here. I'm with you. I think he's great. So yeah, I'm glad we don't play either of them, to be honest.
Yeah, if I'm picking one quarterback this year, Sellers or Nussmeier, I'm taking Nussmeier every time.
I'm taking Nussmeier over any quarterback in the conference for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Mike G, how can people check out everything you've got going on?
Yeah, you guys know the deal. Head on over to the War Rapport. Find our written work at thewarreport.com. Also, check us out at the War Rapport on YouTube. And do us a favor. We are dangerously close to 1,000 subs at Locked On UCF. Getting ready to launch a website for them as well, too. So lots of great things going on in the UCF space. Head on over to YouTube and please hit subscribe on Locked On UCF. Help us reach 1,000 subscribers.
Please like the video. Please subscribe. We'll see you next time. This has been Locked On Auburn.